Welcome to Motivational Humanity. You are not alone.
You know what's hard? Realizing that the people you've poured your heart into don't see your worth. That you've shown up, again and again, for people who wouldn't even notice if you stopped showing up tomorrow. Let's be honest, that kind of pain isn't light. It's the kind that sinks into your chest. The kind that whispers, maybe I'm not enough. But tonight, I want to tell you something that changed my life. You don't need everyone to value you. You just need to value yourself enough to walk away from those who don't. I used to believe that if I just explained myself a little better, if I just showed more patience, more grace, more loyalty, then maybe they'd finally see my worth. Maybe if I stayed quiet when they hurt me, they'd eventually realize what I brought into their life. Maybe if I loved them enough, they'd start loving me back the same way. But that kind of thinking, it's exhausting, isn't it? You start bending yourself into smaller and smaller shapes, trying to fit into a space that was never meant for you. You edit your words, you dim your light, you silence your truth, because somewhere deep down, you're still hoping they'll notice you. That they'll finally look up one day and say, wow, I see you. I get it now. You matter. But here's the thing I had to learn the hard way. You cannot convince someone to value you if they've already decided not to. You can't teach someone to see what they've chosen to ignore. It's like handing a diamond to someone who only collects rocks. They'll turn it around in their hand, squint, and say, it's okay, but I've seen better. They can't see the brilliance because they're not looking for it. And the problem isn't the diamond, it's their perception, their capacity, their level of awareness. When someone doesn't value you, it's not proof that you're lacking. It's proof that they're limited. And the moment you internalize that truth, something begins to shift. You stop auditioning for roles you were never meant to play in someone else's life. You stop chasing validation from people who benefit from your insecurity. You stop giving your peace away in exchange for temporary attention. Because here's what I know to be true: people who value you won't make you feel like you're too much or not enough. They won't need to be reminded of your presence or persuaded of your goodness. They'll simply see it. And when they do, it won't be dramatic. It'll be peaceful. It'll feel like home. So stop explaining your worth to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Stop standing in places where you're tolerated instead of celebrated. Because your energy, your love, your loyalty, they are sacred. And they deserve to be met with equal respect and reciprocity. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is to stop trying. Stop convincing. Stop hoping they'll wake up. And start choosing you. Because the truth is, your worth doesn't need to be proven. It only needs to be remembered. And the moment you remember it, you'll never again beg someone else to see it. Protect your energy like it's sacred, because it is. Every word you speak, every hug you give, every late night text when someone needs you, all of that is energy. And we often give it away without realizing it's the very thing that fuels our peace, our joy, our ability to love ourselves. I used to think being a good person meant being available to everyone. That saying yes made me kind, and saying no made me selfish. But I learned, sometimes the kindest thing you can do for yourself is to stop showing up for people who wouldn't notice if you didn't. When you keep giving your time, your presence, your heart to people who only take, eventually you start running on empty, and that emptiness is dangerous. It makes you believe that maybe you're the problem, that maybe you're asking for too much. But the truth is, you're just giving in the wrong direction. Your energy is like a currency. If you keep spending it on people who never pour anything back, you'll go emotionally bankrupt. And once you reach that point, it's hard to recognize yourself. You start snapping at small things, doubting your own worth, second-guessing your instincts. You lose the spark that once made you you. But when you start protecting your peace, when you say no, even though your voice shakes, when you stop answering calls that always end in chaos, when you give yourself permission to rest, that's when your power returns. Boundaries aren't punishments, they're protection. They're not about controlling others, they're about honoring yourself. Every time you draw a line and say, I won't allow this anymore, You are telling the world and your own heart, I matter. And here's something I want you to remember. Peace doesn't always look like a quiet mind. Sometimes it looks like distance. Sometimes it looks like not responding. Sometimes it's the silence after you finally stopped chasing. When you protect your energy, you make room for the right people to find you. The ones who don't drain you, but restore you. The ones who don't compete with your light, but add to it. You begin to see how much lighter life feels when you stop begging for love from people who are incapable of giving it. And slowly, almost quietly, you realize that you've been holding the power all along. The power to say, I'm done being exhausted by people who mistake my kindness for weakness. Because the truth is, you can't heal in the same space that's been breaking you. You can't grow where your peace is constantly being stolen. So, protect your energy like it's sacred. Because it is. It's your life force. It's your light. It's the pulse of your purpose. And anyone who truly values you will never make you dim it just to keep them comfortable. When someone doesn't value you, it's easy to feel this pull, this deep, aching urge to prove them wrong. You want to show them what they missed. You want to rise so high that they regret ever overlooking you. It's such a human instinct. We all want to be seen, and when we're not, we go into this quiet war within ourselves. We start rehearsing conversations in our minds, rewriting what we wish we'd said, imagining that moment where they finally realize your worth. But here's the truth that will save you years of emotional exhaustion. Proving your worth to someone who can't see it doesn't make them wake up. It just makes you tired. You can't heal by trying to be louder for the people who refuse to listen. You can't grow by dimming yourself to win over people who prefer the shadows. The moment you start mirroring their behavior, ignoring them like they ignore you, withholding love because they did, you start losing yourself. You become what hurt you. And that's not who you are. There is a quiet, steady kind of strength that comes from responding with dignity. Dignity doesn't mean pretending you're not hurt. It doesn't mean you smile and act like everything's fine when it isn't. Dignity means you choose not to let someone else's blindness make you forget your light. It's when you say, I'm not going to let your inability to love me make me unloving. It's when you decide, I can walk away without revenge, without bitterness, without needing closure. Because closure isn't something people give you. It's something you create within yourself. It's the quiet moment when you decide, I deserve better than this, and I'm not going to fight for someone's attention when peace is waiting for me on the other side of letting go. See, responding with dignity isn't weakness, it's power that's under control. It's choosing not to engage in drama because you're finally at a point in your life where peace matters more than proving a point. It's standing in your truth, even if your voice shakes. It's saying, I still believe in kindness, even if you don't. It's refusing to let resentment take root in your heart, because you know it poisons the very soil where your joy grows. When you stop mirroring the behavior of people who devalue you, you start mirroring your own values instead. And that's when everything changes. You start showing up with confidence that doesn't beg, with love that doesn't chase, and with boundaries that don't need to be explained. You realize that maturity isn't about how you treat people who love you. It's about how you treat people who never learned how to. So the next time someone tries to make you feel small, don't shrink to fit their version of you. Stand tall. Smile if you can. Walk away if you must. But always, always keep your dignity intact. Because dignity is the one thing no one can take from you unless you hand it over. And when you choose it, when you carry yourself with quiet grace in the middle of chaos, you send a message without saying a word, I know who I am. And that's enough. Not every fight is yours to fight. Not every argument deserves your energy. Not every person deserves a seat at your emotional table. We often think that engagement equals strength, that if we respond, if we explain, if we argue, somehow we'll change their minds or prove our value. But the truth is, engagement with people who don't value you often does the exact opposite. It drains you, it confuses you, and it steals your peace. Learning the power of disengagement is one of the hardest lessons and one of the most liberating. Because disengagement doesn't mean weakness. It doesn't mean you're ignoring the problem or running away. It means you understand the limits of your influence. It means you recognize when your energy is better spent elsewhere, on yourself, on people who see you, on projects and dreams that honor your worth. Think about it. Every time you argue with someone who refuses to value you, you're giving them control over your emotions. You're handing them the steering wheel of your life. But when you choose to disengage, you're taking the wheel back. You're saying, I see who you are. I understand what you bring. And I choose peace over chaos. Disengagement is also about clarity. It helps you see which relationships are worth investing in and which are simply patterns of depletion. It's the quiet awareness that some people will never appreciate your loyalty, your effort, or your love. And that's not a reflection on you. It's a reflection on them. And here's the remarkable thing: when you stop chasing validation from those who are incapable of giving it, you begin to attract respect naturally. When you stop explaining yourself over apologizing or trying to justify your worth, you start embodying confidence. When you stop proving that you matter, the right people begin to recognize it without a single word. Silence, in this context, becomes your superpower. Distance becomes your shield, and over time, the space you create by disengaging is filled with freedom, with calm, with people and opportunities that truly align with who you are. The more you practice disengagement, the more you realize that your presence is a gift, and it should never be wasted on people who treat it as ordinary. Your energy is sacred, your peace is priceless, and your dignity is non-negotiable. So next time someone devalues you, resist the urge to chase or react. Step back. Protect your space. Let go of the compulsion to explain, to argue, to convince. And notice the profound relief that comes when you finally understand some battles aren't yours to fight, and some people aren't yours to keep. And in that space, quietly, you start to heal. You start to grow. You start to live in a world where your worth is recognized first by the person who matters most to you. Walking away from people who don't value you is one of the most courageous acts you can ever perform. It's not about giving up or being cruel. It's about protecting the most important relationship you will ever have, the one with yourself. For so long, I clung to the idea that loving someone meant enduring their disregard. I thought that if I just stayed long enough, invested enough, or gave enough, eventually they would see me. But the harder I tried, the more I realized something painful yet liberating: love doesn't have to be endured. It should be mutual. Walking away is saying, I can love you, but I will not lose myself in the process. It's recognizing that you deserve relationships that uplift you, that nourish you, and that respect your boundaries. It's choosing people who celebrate your presence instead of questioning your value. And here's what most people don't understand: walking away isn't a one-time decision. It's a practice. Sometimes you have to walk away multiple times before your heart fully believes that your worth isn't dependent on their acknowledgement. It's a reminder that your peace, your joy, and your energy are non-negotiable. When you finally choose to walk away, something shifts inside you. The world feels lighter. The anxiety that comes from trying to please people who never appreciate you begins to dissolve. You start to understand that being alone for a while isn't loneliness. It's clarity. It's a chance to reconnect with your needs, your desires, and your voice, which may have been drowned out for far too long. And here's the secret: once you value yourself enough to leave those who don't, you won't look back in anger or resentment. You won't chase apologies or explanations. You'll simply step forward with grace, knowing that your heart is intact and your dignity is preserved. Because the truth is, your worth is not negotiable. Your energy is precious. And the right people will not just see your value, they'll cherish it, protect it, and reciprocate it in ways that make your soul feel at home. So, value yourself enough to walk away and stay gone. Love yourself enough to let go of relationships that drain you, that disrespect you, that undervalue your light. Protect your heart like it's sacred, because it is. And in doing so, you will find something extraordinary: freedom. Freedom to grow, freedom to love authentically, freedom to be seen, first and foremost, by yourself. When you reach that point, the need for validation from those who never gave it disappears. You stop asking for permission to exist fully. You stop shrinking to fit into other people's limited vision of you. And suddenly, life opens up. You begin to surround yourself with people who raise you up, with opportunities that match your potential, and with experiences that honor your worth. And that, my friends, is the ultimate secret. When you stop wasting yourself on those who cannot see your value, you make room for the life, the love, and the peace that you were always meant to have. So tonight, if you're listening to this and you're tired of being unseen, unheard, unvalued, I want you to know this: your worth was never up for debate. It doesn't shrink in the presence of those who can't see it. It shines quietly, patiently, faithfully, waiting for you to remember it. And when you do, everything changes. So here's to remembering your worth. Here's to walking away in peace. And here's to never letting someone else's blindness make you forget your brilliance.